Welcome, it's Drew Blazik with Logos and Markets. This is the third installment and final video of the depreciation method. And in this example, we're going to do the declining balance method. I highly recommend watch the first two videos where I'm not going to do everything in this video I've done the other ones. I'm going directly to the declining balance. So let's get started. Again, all the videos are on YouTube, but the Excel sheets are on Logos and Markets. Go to Logos and Markets website, hit Sim Finance, and then find the educational series about financial modeling. And it's all free of charge. And it is the Sim method, which you can practice as many times you want. And just a reminder, you got a reset button. You can do it a couple times, and it'll delete everything pertaining to that module. So, okay, let's get started. So what we have here, I already did the transpose function. I brought in the new assets. I already got the depreciation for the existing assets, which is going to be straight line. However, the depreciation on the new asset is the declining balance. What does that mean? It means that if you took $100, let's say an asset, we get to depreciate it 10% the first year, which is going to be $10. Now you got 90. And then you did 10% the next year, which is going to be $9, right? And then be 81, and then it'll be $7.20, bring it down to 72 something, so on until it's zero. So we're going to decline each time by 10% until we get the entire asset down to zero. So what you want to think about, how do we calculate a declining balance? Now it's going to be very similar to what we did before. So you definitely want to practice these a few times until you get it in your head how to do it. So let's get started. So we'll do the if function, and we're going to start with this year, and I'm going to hit function F4 3 times, and we're saying if this is greater than this, that means if the asset was purchased in 2025 and it's 2022, that means I want nothing to happen. I want it blank, and then hit comma. Now we're going to say if this year is equal. Actually, I forgot to put the function F4 because we wanted to do that final drag down to the right. If it's equal to that year, remember we have the halfway rule that we're saying if it is in that year, what we're going to do is we're going to take that asset and function F3 3 times, and that what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of dividing it by the years, we're going to multiply it times the 10%. So that first year is always going to be multiplied times that 10, and I'm at function F4 once, and then what we're going to do is divide it by 2 because we make the assumption of the half year rule. On average, you purchase your asset throughout the year, so we'll assume that first one is that half. Okay, so then this is where it gets a little different. So now what we're going to say is if it is not greater, so we're it won't be blank. Now we're saying is, well, what if it's not equal? We're not in that year. So now I want to take it full. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start this comma by hitting a bracket, and then I'm going to select the asset. Okay, and it's in that bracket. So in this bracket, I want you to think about, I'm going to multiply this entire function by 10% each time. So I'm taking the asset of 16 million. I'm going to function F4 again 3 times. I want to drag to the right, but not down. I'm sorry, I want to drag down, but not to the right. So I put it in front of the letter, right? And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to subtract out. So right, I'm taking the 16 million and I'm finding the difference between the asset and the sum. So I'm subtracting out the sum of, just like we did before. I'm going to take that cell. So we're in K230. I'm going to put a dollar sign. We're going to take J230 semicolon to J230. Right? So it's going to take the sum of, we're starting this cell, and if I drag it to the right, this one does not move, stays at J230, but then this one becomes K230, and then it becomes L230 as you drag it to the right. So what we're taking is the asset minus the sum of all the previous depreciations. I'm going to do 2 brackets, and then I'm going to multiply that times the 10%. Function F4, and I believe 2 more brackets. We'll see if that works. All right, Now I'm going to select this. I just want to make sure it makes sense. If we're not in the year, right? We're not in the year, so it's not divided by 2. What we're saying is I want to take each year that we're going to the right for that depreciation. I'm going to take 10% of the asset minus the sum of the depreciations. So now what it's doing is declining at 10% each time. So each time we're taking that 16 million and subtracting out the sum of the other. So let's pretend that we subtracted out 4 million. Let's say we depreciated 4 million. That means it's going to take 16 minus 4. So now we're going to take 10% of 12, right? And then we'll take, that'd be 1.2, right? That means that would be, we'll keep on going, that'd be 6.2. So it's always taking the difference between the asset and the sum of the depreciation that we've done in the previous, and then we'll multiply it times 10. So it's doing exactly what I want. I have $100. It's going to take, now we're divided by 2 that first year, but let's say we're not. So we're taking the $100, we'll decline it by 10%, that's $10. And then the next year would be 10% of 90, which would bring down to 81. So it's always taking that, all those depreciations, the $10 and the 9, and we're taking the original 100 and we're subtracting of the depreciation. So let's see if this works. I'm going to copy that, go across, and I'm going to hit Alt-ES F formulas. There you go. It's a beautiful thing. Not sure why that is there, but, and then I'm going to go sum, and then what you want to do is some of those depreciations, and there we go. It's complete. So that's how you do a declining balance. So again, if I open it up here, let me show us really quick. What we did was I took the asset of 16 million. I'm subtracting out the sum of J230 is where we started. J230 is right here. And now it's at L230. It's the cell before that. So I just took L230 depreciation. I took the 1.5 and I took the 0.8. So I took 16 million minus 0.8 minus 1.5, and then the remaining of that, and then I took 10% of that. This year I took 1.4 plus 1.5 plus 0.8, so I took 16 minus those 3, multiply times 10%, and it does a good job. There you go. Again, the Excel file on logos and markets under Sim Finance. You could do that. You could practice it as much as you want. And then I'm not going to do in this video, but plug in the rest of the net property, plant, and equipment. Plug in for the depreciation and then the income statement, and that's what the depreciation would have to do with. And again, you hit that reset worksheet, and that's going to delete all your work that you've done, but it will not touch these numbers, and you get to practice it until you have it memorized for the job. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, leave a comment and a like on YouTube and the files on logos and markets.